Hi guys, I'm not Keir Starmer's biggest fan, but well done to him for being the adult in the room when it came to the European Convention on Human Rights. Now, at an Interpol Summit, the Prime Minister read out clearly that the UK will never leave the Convention. This is in no doubt response to the chaos taking place in the Conservative Party on this issue and Nigel Farage's insistence that nobody can be deported until the British government abandons the court and ignores its rulings. I have never really believed the UK would leave, but here's what Starmer had to say.
Instead, we are approaching this issue with humanity and with profound respect for international law. We will never withdraw from the European Convention on Human Rights. Indeed, we're proud of the role the UK played in creating that convention. Respecting international treaties also makes international cooperation easier because it shows that the UK is a reliable partner.
Isn't it ironic that you have a Labour Prime Minister enthusiastically defending the European Convention on Human Rights, and at the same time you have Tories, one wing and another wing, there are now three wings I believe, two of them either asking for it to be reformed or to abandon it completely. You had Kemi Badenoch lukewarm on the issue, and you had Robert Jenrick campaigning to leave the convention and still saying that the UK needs to leave in order to deal with immigration. And of course, you also have Nigel Farage on the sidelines ranting and raving about the European Convention. Now, I've said before, I don't think the UK will ever leave. This argument has been bandied about for the last 10, 15 years at least. But the consequences will be catastrophic. Irrespective of who the president of the US is, both parties in the US Congress have said that they want to protect the Good Friday Agreement, and leaving the European Convention on Human Rights would undermine the Good Friday Agreement. So if you have both Republicans and Democrats saying we need to protect the Good Friday Agreement, and if the UK government tamper with that in any way, they will be coming down on the British government with like a ton of bricks. So, and of course there is the Irish lobby, which is bipartisan in the US. There's also that as well. But all the politicians in the US, it seems, are backers of the Good Friday Agreement. Now, so where do we go from here? At least the Prime Minister is putting this thing to bed, or attempting to. Now, you'll have the Conservatives say, oh, this is a disgrace. How are we supposed to deport people if we don't leave the convention? You know, people were deported while the convention was still in place. Nigel Farage is going to double down on this as well, saying, oh, Labour don't care about immigration. And hopefully, in a sense, this will be taken off the books. It will be forgotten about, within the Labour Party at least, because it doesn't benefit Labour in any way. What is the point in talking about immigration when it's not a priority amongst the British people? The priorities, of course, as I keep saying, is the cost of living crisis and the NHS. So while it may be the case of pandering a little bit to the red wall, saying, yeah, we're dealing with immigration, we're going to spend an extra £75 million on a border command or whatever, I think this is lip service to an issue that's not really important to Labour voters. You know, it's important to some people, and the Conservatives are trying to make it extremely important, but the more Keir Starmer is pulled into this, the more he's allowing himself to be sucked into this discussion, it'll undermine him. There's no benefit for him in dealing with immigration. And unfortunately, on the flip side, if he were to bring about a case or bring about a situation where there were safe routes put in place to stop the boats, I think it would actually harm the Labour Party, because it would take away this argument of discussion that's taking place between the Conservatives and Reform. So the longer Reform and the Conservatives fight over immigration, and it remains somewhat of an issue, I think this helps the Labour Party in the medium and long term. But it's good to hear somebody stand up and say, look, the Good Friday Agreement needs to be protected, and of course we're not going to leave the European Convention on Human Rights. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.